All right, guys, we've now finished our last project. We're pretty much towards the end here now. We've gone ahead and tested it out, and obviously it works pretty good. The few things that you might want to check is you can also look at different kinds of trigger mechanisms. One great thing about when we do the laminating of two boards, you can hollow down those boards and stick a trigger inside. So I really encourage you guys to go out there and really try to research the different kinds of crossbows, triggers, and mechanisms out there, and just see if you can update yours and try to make a new one, and just really keep practicing on making all these different kinds of bows so you can really bring that craft up. Now, this crossbow is our last project. It wasn't really crazy hard to make. It is very simple in form, but the reason it's our last project is because it is the most powerful of the weapons that we made out of everything. As always, like I said, you really want to be careful with this crossbow, especially if it's locked and cocked. If there's a bolt in there, it is no different than a loaded gun having a round down in the chamber. If you're walking around with that, there's no safety on it other than your finger not hitting it. So if something hits the trigger, grazes it, whatever, that bolt's going to go off in whatever direction it is. And if there's someone there, a child, an animal, they're going to get very badly hurt. So you guys really need to take this serious. These are not toys. You could also try to attempt, if you didn't want to do the PVC limb for your crossbow prod, you can also do spring steel, like get an old springs from say like a Jeep or something from the leaf springs, from the suspension. Go ahead and take one of those downs and plasma cut it out in a shape of a limb and leave the tips down there so your string can attach. Another idea is you can also use a piece of wood as well. You can use one of the pieces of red oak, cut it down into a strip that's about 2 inches, tiller it down so it has a kind of a taper down there so it can bow. That'll make a very effective limb, and many of the first crossbows during medieval times actually used limbs like that before they had metal limbs. Now, another alternative is you could also approach this similar to how you did with the ski takedown bow. If you wanted to get another pair of skis, or if you have the other additional half section of skis that you have left over, you can actually cut those down, cut 2 of the straight end pieces off your skis, and then you're going to have them on the front of your crossbow. Now, the only difference is if you do the ski one versus, say, like a solid limb, like a PVC limb, where we just attached it straight to the front with some screws. If you're using the ski ones, you're going to need to build up a wood section on the front of the crossbow that essentially connects to your stock. And what that will is they'll have a bar in the front as well as 2 20-degree angle cuts on each side for the skis to attach to. Just like we did with our ski takedown bow, where the riser had 2 20-degree angle cuts on it that met at 28-degree angles for the skis on there as well. So that is an option. You can take your skis and use those on a crossbow as well. Just make sure that you really check those angles on there to make sure they're right.